And welcome back, Firewood addicts, to another episode of Travis Does Firewood. Again, I'm at my firewood stand, but we're not going to be talking about my firewood stand today. As you can see, I have put one of my former signs up over my new signage. This is my $30 big wood, or what I call my bonfire rack sections of my firewood. And it's now empty, and now I have a sign over that says mixed wood rack at 20, which is the same thing as this rack here. I don't have another sign to put over that with the Velcro. I'm working on that with my good friend Jonathan over at Ruckus Designs. Go and check him out if you need any logos or signage or magnets for your vehicles, wraps, etc. He can do it all. But anyway, I want to talk about racks for a second. So let's get into it. So when I make my racks of wood, it's not really volume, it's more quantity. It's more or less 30 pieces, 30 sticks of wood. Now, I think there are people out there that have a firewood stand who would do by volume, some sort of like cubic feet type thing. I tried that initially and it didn't seem to work. So, and I have different different ways of when I was doing my racks of wood of how I would do it. I did my main was a $20 rack of wood, which is 30 pieces, and the pieces of wood are about, I would say, about like this size. This size here would be for bundles, but this size here would be for the rack, which would be a little bit bigger than a bundle. I can't fit in a bundle, but it's split accordingly for to be rack wood. But as I was getting in wood, having to stack wood, I realized that I had a lot of smaller pieces, perhaps like cookies. So I tried having a rack, and I counted, I don't know, like I would put 2 cookies together to equal about like 16 inches log, and I guess I would do 60 pieces that were cookies, but those would be 15 because they're not fully long pieces and they're shorties, and that didn't really sell. That didn't really sell at all. But then I also got let's go this way. I also got a bunch of bigger pieces that I didn't want to rip down. I didn't want to mess with. Bigger pieces that are longer, big pieces that that could not split as easy, as well as that were kind of wonky. Like these pieces here of the spruce that are bigger. These are probably at like 20 to 22 ish, naughty, funky pieces. Large and in charge.
Is this queer? They're large and in charge and looking for chickies.
Pieces that are good for, in my opinion, outside. Outside, you have a bonfire, you want bigger pieces, or if you have a huge mamma jamma wood stove that can fit these bigger pieces, then you have bigger pieces to burn. So I sold these basically for $1 a piece. 30 pieces of the bigger, larger wood for $30. And during this past summer, and fall, winter, I had a lot of good sales on the bonfire wood. So I want to continue that. Instead of having rounds, like I'll show you in a second, rounds that are longer or that are bigger, that easier to split with the knot and to cut bigger split pieces of wood, I'll put them in the bonfire rack of 30 pieces for $30. So and I have to force to split them down to smaller pieces that they don't want to be, or to noodle the rounds into smaller. And then I have cookies, which I burn cookies. I really can't sell cookies. So to save time and energy, I'm just going to leave the bigger rounds long and big. But what I want to do today is to see how much I can fit of the big bonfire wood pieces in one ICB tote. I'm gonna stack it in here, gonna heap it so it's gonna be as close as possible to 1/3 of a cord. I'm gonna count how many times I put 30 pieces into the basket, into the cage, and we're gonna have a tally mark system, and you're gonna see that. We'll see how many 30-piece racks will fit in the cage, and then we're gonna do some math, some calculations of how much this cage is worth just as 1/3 of a cord versus how much I sell the bonfire wood at my firewood stand for $30. So let's get back into fur. Let's get all geared up with the splitter. I don't think I'm gonna noodle, but I may need to bring out the purple monster again. We'll see. But anyway, today we're gonna be splitting. We're doing some math and counting, and to figure out how much this bad boy holds. Let's do it. Singing, I love firewood, throw another piece on the bonfire, baby. So I've been waiting for this day for a while. We have like 5 straight days, at least for now, according to the weather report, at least 5 days of sun. Spring is approaching. It's awesome. I don't know. There's something about living in the Pacific Northwest. When it rains, usually in the winter and fall, and into spring, sometimes it's just cold. And when you get wet, you get chilled to the bone, and it sucks. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. So we have sun. I need to be outside. Let's create some carnage. Let's fish some wood. Let's stack some wood. I'm really excited about this episode. So what we're gonna do is, at least first, so I brought out the champion right here. Can I say something about the champion? Can I say something about a single wedge big box splitter like this? I know a lot of you're striving, or you're thinking about upgrading to a multi-wedge splitter, or something that kind of like the one that you stand at like waist high and with the log lift and you come down. I know that Easton Made makes one, and a Wolf Ridge it makes ones. You see that at Joe at Ohio Woodburner, and the guy over at Firewood on the hill with the Wolf Ridge, where you have the lever at your foot, and the wedge comes down, single wedge, but you're splitting with it, and it's always vertical. Or some of the Easton May splitters or Wolf Ridge and the like, they're always horizontal. They're one way or the other. If you have most commonly a single wedge from a big box store, you have a freaking transformer. It can go from horizontal to vertical in a heartbeat. I have a pin right here. It pivots right there. And when I have bigger rounds, I flip this up and it goes vertical. If I have smaller rounds, I go to back up to horizontal, and I split it because I can lift up the round. If I can't lift up these pieces, even these chunks here, it's kind of pushing it in terms of me wanting to lift this up on the table to split. I'm just saying the single wedge, most of the time, the single wedge splitters from the big box stores, you have this pivot point right here, and it goes from a horizontal to a vertical splitter in seconds. You have a transformer, folks. You have a freaking transformer in your wood yard to split wood that is big or small. If you don't want to have to noodle this down one more time, put this bad boy in vertical mode and kind of manhandle it over to the splitter, squat down or sit on a milk carton and split that sucker. You have a transformer, folks. Don't go striving too much for one of those professional grade splitters when your splitter here can do the job. It can do the job and still heat your home. It can still make you money. This thing can split cords, plural, many cords of wood per year without issue. Yes, you could be more efficient, perhaps, with a professional grade splitter, but you're spending several times the amount of money that you would spend on a brand new or even used single wedge splitter. Just saying. Transformer. It's a transformer. Okay. Anyway, where was I? I'm using my measuring stick for my firewood. My maple guy. I use this to make sure that the lengths of firewood, my premium maple, is at 16 and nothing more, because his small wood stove for his backyard sauna can fit. So I'm going to use this as a guide. So as of right now, this piece here, we're good to go. I think I split this one myself, or noodled it, or cut it down. This piece here is over. So this piece here is going to be one that we are going to split with the Champion this morning and put in a big bonfire rack over there. So I'm going to use this real quick and kind of measure and kind of place some rounds. Ones that are at 16 will go in one pile. Ones that are severely under are go into another pile for cookies. Ones that are over 16 are going to go in the pile that we'll be splitting today, so we can fill up that one ICB tote. So let's get to measuring, right? Measuring. Yeah. questions, let me know. But thank you again, Chad, for your support. if you love firewood, you eat, breathe, dream about firewood, it's what you do as a side hustle, what you do for full-time work. If you love the feel of a nice wood handle axe in your hand and the hand split rounds, breaking a sweat, if you just enjoy firewood, if you have not found anyone else to chat firewood with, come on down to the Firewood Addicts podcast series, airing every Sunday episode, where I interview pros, not pros, on their firewood addiction, what they know about firewood, and we are sharing tips, we are sharing lessons learned, best practices, sharing the knowledge, sharing it. The firewood community should be a gang of brothers and sisters, and there should be no winners and losers. We're all on the same plane. We're all equal. So to share knowledge, information, opinions, so in our own wood yard, we can formulate how we want to process wood, how we want to cut wood, how we want to split wood, how we want to stack wood. We each do it different. It's not right or wrong. And to have a platform to share that knowledge, and then you can all watch and enjoy. Ask questions, engage with each other. Let's do this together as one happy firewood family, you know? So every Sunday, check out my channel. It'll be on there early in the morning. And if you want to be on to be interviewed, you let me know. My email is in the About section on my channel, and check it out. All right, so there's a cage. I could add some definitely to the top, and it's, since they're all not uniform, there are some air gaps in here, but more or less you get the idea. And I wouldn't call this a full third of a cord because it's not really heaped. At least it could be heaped more. I mean there's some on this side, but this came out to because I know you were all counting with me, and yes, some of the pieces were small, so I took two smaller pieces, added them together to make one, even though they're longer, but like if they're skinny pieces, for example. But we came out to four of the bonfire $30 racks. So if get out my handy marker here, if we have $30 a rack and we multiply that by 4, yeah, that comes out to $120. Now, if I was to sell this cage, I would probably sell, because it's split, for between $110 and $120 a cage, right? For non-chunk, non-cookie split, and it was stacked and not loosely tossed. And then that would be plus the delivery fee, so whatever that would be. Per this math, per this experiment, I'm more or less equal. I don't think, and or I could be ahead of the game if I was able to sell this whole cage at once and deliver it, to include a few dollars for the delivery fee. But this wood is specialized. It's massive. It's knotty. It's nasty. It's not very attractive. And in this area, we don't have boilers. It's just not a thing. Maybe on the east side of the mountains, there are, where the weather is definitely different on the other side of the state. But on this side, in Western Washington, we don't have boilers. We don't have that cold of winters to warrant boilers where you can burn odd-sized chunks, rounds, even whole logs. I've seen boilers on YouTube that literally take whole logs and you burn them. So I guess I want this to showcase that you can take wood that's odd size, wonky, funky, ugly, as some other YouTuber calls it, nasty crap wood, and you can still turn it around and make a profit. So it's an example of if you get a lot of free wood, and the free wood is from tree service wood, or an arborist, or a tree killer, and they flat don't care what they're bucking up the pieces at. It could be anywhere from 10 inches to maybe 16, all the way up to maybe like 22, 24 inches, and you don't know what to do with it. Well, save time, sell this wood as it is lengthwise, and split it and sell it as bigger wood, as opposed to having to cut down the round from 20 to 22 inches, whatever how long it is, down to 16, and then splitting it so you have good 16-inch long pieces, but then you got some cookies. So if you have tree service wood and you're getting it and it's going to be all over the place, this is one example of what you could do with it. So because a lot of this, what I'm calling bonfire wood, has a bunch of knots in it, maybe crotches, branches, it's good wood to burn. Definitely if you have a big enough stove to put this in there, and it will definitely last long, especially for a softer wood as opposed to a harder wood. So I guess that's what makes it attractive, but I think it's mostly sold during the summertime, but I got a lot during the winter time, or possibly, which I'm not sure if they were burning outside or inside. I assume outside. Just have some big enough pieces to throw on after you have some good coals going, some good flames going outside at your campfire. So I think it's a win-win and a good value. So instead of me taking the time to cut this wood, these rounds down to 16, where it has 16 inches that may still be wonky, so that would be in my $20 rack of wood. I left them long, split them down, and they were super. Sometimes the champion struggled a little bit with some of them. They're definitely knotty. They're definitely tree service wood, and I hope that there's some good 16 inchers in the other wood that is nice and where I can split. If not, then I kind of got hosed on that deal with the fir, where I wasn't aware that I was not the only not the only person getting the wood, and other people who got some of the rounds cherry picked and got the better stuff, which it is what it is, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's kind of nonsense. So I hope that was worth it. But in my recent episode of the hassle of free wood, sometimes it is not worth the hassle. So back to this. I wanted to show that you can still find a market, leave your noodled pieces or your rounds long, above 16 inches, above 17 inches, upwards of 24 inches long. Find a market and sell it. To not have 16-inch lengths and then some cookies. So an example of finding a niche, very specific, very niche market, selling it and still making money on it. Okay, so that's that. That's all I really had to say. I'm gonna leave this out in the open like this in the cage so it dries. This bonfire wood is definitely wet. I when I was splitting this fir just now, I literally got squirted on my goggles, which is why I wear them. Wet. It's wet wood. Anyway, I hope this was entertaining. I hope this was helpful. Leave any questions down in the comments. Rock and roll. Stay safe. keep cutting, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.